There is a very specific moment before your life changes, and most people miss it completely. It is subtle. It is quiet. It does not feel dramatic. It does not feel chaotic. It does not even feel emotional. What it feels like is clarity, a clarity that comes from deep inside. You start noticing things differently. Small details that used to bother you no longer matter. Conversations that once triggered you feel distant. Decisions that once confused you feel simpler. There's a tightening of focus, not in thought, but in perception. You begin to know things without proof. You begin to sense the next step, even if you cannot see it. That is intuition getting louder. And it happens because something inside you is shifting. The old identity that held you tight begins to loosen. Emotional reactions from the past fade. Patterns that once consumed your attention become clear and distant. You feel less reactive, not indifferent, but reorganized. Not chaotic, but aligned. The nervous system starts syncing with the new probability. Your body senses what your mind cannot yet understand. Your brain and heart are not separate from reality. They are constantly exchanging information with it. When coherence rises in the field, it rises in you. That coherence is what makes intuition louder. Not louder in sound, louder in certainty. It nudges, it repeats, it returns when ignored. It is steady, calm, and consistent. Anxiety spikes and fades. Intuition does not. Right before a shift, you feel a strange confidence. You cannot explain it. You cannot justify it. You just are. Because your system already knows something is changing. Momentum is forming quietly underneath the surface. You can feel it, like standing near a train before it arrives. The vibration in the tracks is real. It is energy converging. It is probability organizing. And your intuition is the first signal. Before your external reality changes, your internal world aligns. Before probabilities collapse into form, they stabilize internally. This is why clarity comes before action. This is why calm comes before transformation. Your nervous system senses coherence forming. Your heart rhythm smooths. Your brain waves adjust. Alpha and theta states strengthen. Your perception expands. You stop scanning for threats. You start seeing patterns. Subtle, coherent patterns that guide your next step. Your body predicts outcomes before your conscious mind does. That prediction feels like certainty. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop chasing validation. You stop obsessing. Instead, you observe, you feel, you sense. That is the quiet power of intuition before a quantum shift. Most people make a mistake. They expect drama. They expect fireworks. They expect a loud signal. But shifts do not work that way. They build slowly, silently, steadily. Coherence forms before anything external becomes obvious. Noise decreases and clarity rises. You are not hearing something new. You are hearing what has always been there. Your system was too noisy to detect it before. Now it is clear. Now it is unmistakable. You know which direction to move. You know which choices feel right. You feel grounded. You feel aligned. You are not trying harder. You are sensing deeper. So what exactly is your intuition detecting before a shift? It is not magic. It is regulation. Your brain constantly forecasts. Every second, it compares new data with memory. It fills gaps. It anticipates outcomes. Much of this happens without conscious awareness. You think you react to life, but your system is predicting it. Before a shift, your forecasting model updates. High beta reactive waves quiet down. Survival-driven patterns release. The nervous system relaxes. The amygdala calms. The prefrontal cortex regulates better. Alpha waves bridge analytical thought and subconscious insight. Theta waves deepen emotional processing. Your perception widens. You see trajectories instead of isolated events. That is what intuition is at this stage. pattern detection at a coherent level, subtle, certain, undeniable. Your heart and brain synchronize, cognitive clarity grows, emotional stability increases, internal order rises. You begin to sense alignment everywhere. Small signals appear first, a sudden understanding of who belongs in your life, a calm certainty about leaving things behind. A direction becomes obvious. No drama, no emotional spike, just steadiness. That steadiness is key because intuition needs stillness. If you interrupt it with doubt, panic, or overanalysis, you destabilize the forming coherence. Collapse is delayed, but if you trust the signal and remain steady, the shift accelerates. Probability converges quietly. Momentum forms inside before it manifests outside. The old self loses grip. Emotional charge around past patterns fades. Your system withdraws energy from old timelines and stabilizes the new. You are no longer dominated by past identities. You feel detachment without effort. You feel calm without numbness. You see the difference between alignment and stimulation. Excitement is not the same as coherence. Alignment feels quieter, more certain, more grounded. Right before a shift, manifestation stops being effort. It begins to follow who you are. Your internal state dictates external reality. Stability accelerates outcomes. Instability delays them. Clean transmission equals clean collapse. That is why forcing, chasing, obsessing, or panicking never works. Calm certainty does. Notice small signals. They repeat. They are steady. They feel inevitable. Conversations align. Opportunities appear subtly. Timing feels effortless. These are micro shifts before the macro change. Your intuition feels them first. You see patterns before the world shows them. You sense coherence before probability collapses. But most people override it with doubt. They question, they panic, they try to control. That reaction destabilizes formation. The shift does not fail. It pauses. It waits. Right before a shift, life can feel suspended, not forward, not backward, just hovering. This is not stagnation. This is preparation. This is consolidation. This is where patience matters more than action. This is where trust matters more than evidence. When intuition grows louder, do not amplify it emotionally. Observe. Let it stabilize. Let the identity adjust. Let the field reorganize without interference. You do not need signs. You do not need external validation. You just need steadiness. And steadiness alone collapses probability faster than effort ever could. This is why some people seem lucky. They are not chasing life. They are steady. They are coherent. They are aligned internally. Their external reality follows. And right before a quantum shift, you can feel it. The calm certainty, the quiet clarity, the steady intuition that demands nothing but your attention. That attention is enough to complete the shift.
Right before a shift, your identity reorganizes. The version of you that doubts and panics cannot hear subtle signals. That version survives in noise. That version measures safety through control. But the new version emerges, the quiet, calm, grounded version. It observes without reaction. It trusts without proof. It lets internal coherence guide the external world. Old emotional loops weaken. Urgency fades. Attachment to outdated identities decreases. Detachment is not emptiness. It is alignment. The version of you that listens is not the version that reacts. Intuition amplifies as identity stabilizes. The quieter you become, the louder the signal gets. The more regulated your nervous system, the clearer the feedback. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to act frantically. You do not need to check or prove. You need steadiness. Nervous system regulation creates clarity. Calm certainty creates alignment. Stability accelerates collapse. That is why right before a shift, life seems almost anticlimactic. The surface may appear quiet. Conversations slow down. Momentum seems paused. But underneath, probabilities are locking in. That quiet is consolidation. That calm signal is readiness. That steady intuition is confirmation before manifestation. The difference between those who experience transformation and those who repeat cycles is steadiness, long enough to let the field reorganize without interference. When you truly listen, your intuition becomes undeniable. You are no longer collapsing probabilities from fear. You are collapsing from alignment. You are no longer reacting from urgency. You are acting from coherence. And coherence feels different from excitement. It feels calm. It feels grounded. It feels certain. Right before a quantum shift, your internal system does the work first. Your external reality follows naturally. You stop asking if it is happening. You stop seeking proof. You stop chasing. You start recognizing. You start knowing. And once you allow this quiet process to complete, the shift feels inevitable. It does not shock. It does not erupt. It confirms. It validates. It aligns with what you already sensed. The signal you trusted guides the collapse. The probability completes itself. Your intuition was never wrong. Your nervous system was never mistaken. The shift was always inevitable. You just needed to remain steady enough to hear it. And when you do, everything rearranges to match the version of you who listened. Listen. Stay calm. Let the shift finish. The quiet is not absence, it is alignment. The stillness is not pause, it is preparation. The signal is not demand, it is guidance. The coherence you maintain is what allows reality to follow. Right before your life transforms, trust yourself. Trust your signal. Let the quiet do its work. Your intuition is louder. Your system is ready. The shift is already happening.
Now everything feels quieter. Your mind slows, your body steadies. You notice subtle nudges you might have ignored before. Decisions feel clear without effort. The old tension fades. You no longer force outcomes. You simply move with what feels right. That stillness is power. That calm certainty is the signal you have been waiting for. The shift is near because you allowed it to form without interference. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Your intuition is louder now, not because anything external changed, but because you became quiet enough to hear it. Let that quiet guide you. Let that coherence complete itself. The moment you stop struggling, life aligns. Everything you sensed begins to materialize. Right before the shift, nothing has to happen for it to happen. You are already there. Listen, stay steady, move when it feels aligned, and let reality follow the version of you who finally trusted.